Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the How Y'all Hockey Podcast, where we talk all things hockey. And would you believe it? I'm coming to you saying the Colorado Avalanche are your 2022 Stanley Cup champions. They beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 6 of the Cup Finals with a score of 2-1, and that was the fourth one-goal game of the finals. And honestly, regardless of whatever fan you're for, I mean, obviously I'm biased. I'm a Colorado Avalanche fan through and through, but this is the Cup Finals you would have wanted. 4 out of the 6 games went decided by one goal. 2 of the games went into overtime, and 2 of the games were a little bit of outliers with massive score deficits here and there. But you could not ask for a better game. Game 6. Game 6 was hard fought. The refs let the players play. There's only 2 penalties called all game long, so the refs were letting the players play here. And the game winner was scored in the second period. Artturi Lehkonen scores 2-1 to give the Avs the lead and eventually to go on to win the Stanley Cup. And my heart was racing. The Avs might have played the best defensive period in the end of the second and the entire third period. I think they only gave up about 4 shots on goal to the Lightning in the third period. So it was all Avalanche in the third period. And came away with it. They won on the road. They haven't won a home series since 2008. So they're a lot better on the road. They finished 9-2 on the road. So obviously you want to have some success on the road if you're going to, be Stanley Cup champions. And they just dethroned the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions. And in my opinion, though, not to take anything away from the Lightning, they played Montreal and Dallas in the Cup Finals the last 2 years, and they're no Colorado Avalanche either. And also, too, due to COVID and all that stuff, the seasons were a little bit different. So there's, the games were different, series were different. So, this was the first full regular NHL season. Saw 2 heavyweight juggernauts go after it. The Avs, before 2015, even later, since 2017, they've been great in the playoffs, obviously having the multiple second-round exits, but they struggled the early 2010 era. 2015 or so, I think they only had like 48 points. So there's been times they've been bad. But now you can see the new coach, Jared Bednar, coming in, getting through to his players, and they finally won the Stanley Cup in 2022. Guys like McKinnon, Landeskog, Eric Johnson, they've been waiting almost a decade to get their Stanley Cup, and they finally got it. And the winner, the Conn Smythe Trophy, which is the MVP of the playoffs, was won by defenseman Cale Makar. And let me tell you what, he's a godsend for the Colorado Avalanche. He's only 23-year-old, lest I remind you, but here's the accolades he's had since he's been in the league or even before. Number 1, he won the Hobey Baker Award in college as the best player in NCAA hockey. He won the Calder Trophy as the best rookie in the NHL when he was drafted. He won the Norris Trophy this year as the best defenseman in the league. He won the Stanley Cup and the Conn Smythe as the best player in the Stanley Cup Finals. And the accolades keep coming for him. So, young kid, 23 years old, he's going to be a huge impact for the Colorado Avalanche in the years to come. Obviously, not sure who's going to get re-signed, who's going to leave to go to other teams. So I'm assuming you just can't keep all these guys together because it's going to cost too much money for Joe Sakic. But worked this year. Joe picked up a lot of good players at the trade deadline. Artturi Lehkonen, Andrew Cogliano, guys like that who are gritty, play tough. That's what they needed this year. And Avalanche are 3 for 3 in the Stanley Cup Finals. You got 96 years born, 2001, and 2022. So they don't go to the Stanley Cup Finals a lot, but when they do win. So it's great to see the Colorado Avalanche win the Stanley Cup on away ice. And this is a heck of a year for the Colorado Avalanche. Obviously, they didn't finish best in the league, but finished second best behind the Florida Panthers, who got swept by the Lightning. But they already got a franchise record in wins this season. So it's already their best season in franchise history. And I would argue this is probably their best playoff team that they've had. In 16 games that they won in the playoffs, they only lost 4 games all playoffs long. They didn't even lose 5 games all playoffs long. And they are actually tied with the team in 88, I think it was Detroit, that won 72 games, including playoffs and regular season. They're tied with the most since the late 80s. So the Avalanche were a pretty hard team to beat this year. Obviously, Avs had a couple of great postseason rounds. They swept two teams. They swept the first round, the Western Conference Finals. They lost 2 games to St. Louis, and they lost 2 games to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, lest I say, it's a no easy feat to win the Stanley Cup playoffs, but the Avalanche made it look pretty easy. And talk about the resilience of this team. A lot of players playing injured, and that's just what happens in the playoffs. Naz McCadry broke his thumb, came back after almost 20 days, and players playing banged up. Nichushkin could barely walk in Game 6 before the game, but he was on the ice, played a great defensive game. So you got to give it to the Colorado Avalanche for sure. I think they were the better team, in my opinion. There's no doubt about it. Great run for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're probably going to be back because the East, they run the East. So until anybody in my mind dethrones them in the East, they're the team to beat. And the team to beat in the West, obviously, is going to be Colorado. Obviously, you got teams up and coming like Edmonton and Calgary, but, Edmonton's got McDavid and Draisaitl, the 2 best players in the league, arguably, and they got swept by the Avalanche. So it's kind of tough to see, where they go from here for the Oilers. But let me tell you, Jared Bednar, what a coach. He's already got the franchise record in wins for a coach for the Colorado Avalanche, and he's won on all levels he's coached at. He's won in the ECHL, the East Coast Hockey League, which is basically AA baseball, which is their affiliate. Won with them, won their championship. He won with the American Hockey League, which is the next step up. He won with them, and then he also won with the Colorado Avalanche. So he's the first head coach, modern era, to win all 3 trophies in the 3 prospective leagues. So Jared Bednar is a very good coach. So I know there's a lot of people who, after they started 500 this year, people were calling for him to be fired, but my goodness, what a coach Jared Bednar is. Can't give him enough credit. Obviously, it's the player's job to play well, but they got to get coached somewhere. So Jared Bednar coaches the Avs to a Stanley Cup championship. Joe Sakic, the GM, gets his 3rd cup, 2 as a player, 1 as a GM now. So he's got a lot of decisions to make in this offseason. But what a heck of a season for the Colorado Avalanche, and let's go. Huge Colorado Avalanche fan. Grew up in Denver, Colorado, so not too far from the Avs. So actually moving there in the fall, so can't be more thrilled to be back home. And let's just say, let's go Avs, and I will see you guys in the next video.